I get myself into a state of mind where I'm really kind of targeted psychologically on the history of some of the relationships. I mean, you know, I read a lot of really trashy science fiction. Trashy meaning it's not well done, you know. Every plot is the same. In a number of books, they're all serialized now, you know, so you can get, you know, like 100 million in a series. By the time you're done with the fifth one, you don't want to see the books anymore. You know? Just not all that good. But they are a distraction and an opportunity for me to vegetate, which is comforting sometimes. But I have these images in my mind, you know, of John and Jesus sitting around, having a hot cup of wine and talking about football. Football's a wonderful thing. It should traverse all the ages, all the way back to Jesus. They didn't have football. But the point is, I think that focusing on the humanity of some of these great figures is important in understanding how things fit together. Jesus and John the Baptist were relatives. They were related. Some folks say second cousin. Anybody here have a second cousin? I do. Several of them. Do you know how old they are? A second cousin could be 93, you know, because frequently second cousins are older than first cousins, and that's a natural kind of thing. But the point is, you can have a lot of people in your family that are second, third, one detached. I mean, you know, there's all kinds of terminology that we use to understand our lineage. And I think that that's a good thing. I think we should understand our lineage, but it can get confusing. But here are two people who are related, Jesus and John the Baptist. From the beginning, their lives were connected before they were ever born. John the Baptist's mom was too old to have a baby. And the Lord said, "You will have a baby." And it just happened to be that John the Baptist was born around the same time that Jesus was. It wasn't a virgin birth. His mom wasn't a virgin. But it was a miraculous birth because the two parents couldn't have kids anymore. And the Lord went to him and said, "Yeah, you will. You're going to have John the Baptist." I mean, I don't think the Lord said, "Hey, you're going to have John the Baptist." I think the Lord said, "Congratulations, you're going to have a baby." And but see, again, my mind goes back to the humanity of people. Jesus Christ, what was it like to sit around a table and eat lunch with him? You know, I don't drink wine, but I drink coffee, and I can kind of visualize sitting around having a cup of coffee with Jesus. That's how I choose to live my Christian faith. And yet they were tied together unto their death and afterwards. Who could have possibly known that those two infants would end up dying the way that they did? If we were attentive to the prophecies, we would know that. But a lot of prophets out there, and not everybody listens to them. And that's unfortunate, because they ought to, because the time is going to come, and John the Baptist says so. Look, the Lord's going to come, and he's going to bless you. but there's also going to be fire there. And I think that John the Baptist and Jesus Christ want us to be prepared for the things that come. Now, I can't tell anymore who's a big believer in Revelation and who's not. I've heard so many stories about Revelation. You need to read it yourself if you haven't. Understand it a little bit better. I once did a class on Revelation. I might do that again. But the point is this: you're responsible. I've said this before. This is not, shouldn't be news to you. That we are responsible for what we purport to believe, and that means that when the time comes, there will be a time for repentance for you. It's interesting that many of the references that I looked at talked about two different kinds of baptism, one being corporate and the other being individual. Things can get really complicated when you're listening to a lot of people talk about the Bible, because everybody's opinion is right. That's really the way that it is, and people have a hard time talking about these things. People have a hard time discussing in a rational manner the book of Revelation because it's not rational. It's not rational. The images and the things that come up in Revelation are out of human experience, outside of human experience the way it is right now. Someday we will understand all these things. But John the Baptist is really kind of bringing it back down to earth, just as Jesus did. Jesus said, be ready. Come like a thief in the night. Now, if Jesus is coming like a thief in the night, I want to be doing something he'll really like when he gets here. You know? I do. I got to say, I care what people think about me. I especially care what Jesus thinks about me, and I don't want to blow it. You know? I want to be looking good. And then we hear this. Doesn't matter where you come from. Doesn't matter who your parents are. Doesn't matter that you think you want to look good. Because when Jesus comes, you're going to look just the way you are. So be ready. Be helping people. You know, be able to say to the Lord, you know, I wasn't entirely successful, but I did some stuff right. And Jesus will appreciate that. I believe it. I believe he loves us that much. He loves us enough to bring us in here on Sundays, to listen to people preach, to talk about things that are important to us, to love one another the way we do. And it doesn't have anything to do with the color of your skin, how much I love you. It doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is. Do those things affect people's judgment? Yeah, they do. But we're human beings, and we can put aside judgment to see a human being in their goodness and their purity. That's how I want Jesus to find me. Amen.
Amen.